Hold on. Send you guys away. Hello, everyone, and welcome to tonight's episode of, that's right, you guessed it, Hypnosis Hero. I am your host, Jim Kellner, comedy hypnotist, hypnotherapist. Thanks so much for tuning in. This episode, as all the episodes are, sponsored by my app, Hypnosis Hero. Go get it in the Google Play Store. The Apple version, I swear it will come someday. Joining me today, of course, as always, Shawn Kostiuk, world's greatest producer. Hello, Shawn.
How are you tonight?
Doing great. He's actually being co-host tonight as well because Brian Bay seems to be AWOL. Have you heard anything from Brian?
No, and you know, Brian, I have a brother named Brian. I rarely hear from him too. So I think it's common to Brian's.
Common to Brian's. Brian usually lets me know if he's not going to be here, so I'm not sure what happened, but we've changed the schedule a little bit. Just to let everybody know, we're not doing every Friday anymore because, wow, I was feeling pretty overwhelmed. I got a lot of projects going on, so it's going to be, I know it's going to be really hard to keep track of. Second and fourth Fridays of the month, except when we're all traveling, which will be happening in July. Shawn and I will be at Hypnothoughts.
Looking forward to it. I'm pumped up. I'm ready to go. I just have to book my flight. I want something more reasonable than $1 million to pay for an airline flight. So
worth every penny, Shawn. Worth every penny.
Oh, I know. But you see up here, we spell million with a Y. So.
Hey, Shawn, tell the good people at home when you go live. You and Chanel, was that a morning, Thursday morning?
No, that was Sunday morning. So we had to settle on Sunday mornings because Chanel is located in Portugal. So in order to make it a reasonable time for both of us to actually be awake and somewhat coherent, it's 9 o'clock in the morning for me, and it's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon for her, if I recall correctly. So it's a bit of a time jump, but you know what? It works for us. She's absolutely awesome to get together with, and that all came about just because of chance meeting on TikTok. Noticed
fantastic.
that she followed me. It's kind of like you and I, and just who is this guy? He's doing some good stuff, you know. Who is this lady? She's putting out some good videos, and so just happened to text her and say, hey, like, you know, love the work that you're doing. Let me know if you need anything. I've been around TikTok for a while. Almost immediately she wrote back and said, you know what, the one thing I can't do on my own is I can't go live because I don't have 1,000 followers. I said, well, you know what, I've never gone live, but let's figure it out and let's do it. And so we've been doing it prior to daylight savings time flipping over. We were Thursday nights at we were probably just ending about the same time as Hypno News was starting. So
gotcha.
That was our former regular schedule. So
right on.
It's been fun.
Good. Yeah. And I had a good conversation with you guys the other day. So that's on TikTok Sunday mornings. What time?
So 9 o'clock Saskatchewan time. So if we're looking at Eastern, which seems to be everybody's ballpark, that would be 11 Eastern.
11 Eastern. And your handle on TikTok, you're going to post that down there for folks?
It is. My handle on TikTok is at SK Hypnosis.
SK Hypnosis. Shawn's got a couple of videos on there with like almost 500,000 views. It's crazy.
It is the absolute weirdest thing. I'll tell you that right now. That very first video that I put out was just me swinging a watch, saying, you know, if you're anxious or whatever it was, we can help you with that. And 468,000 views later, it's still my number one video by a long shot.
And I think that may have been where I first saw you, and then over in the Hypno Hustle, but I don't remember exactly. But I think that's where I saw you first. I was like, "Whoa, look at this guy! Got 500,000 views. It's fantastic." All right, Shawn, ready to bring on our guest?
I believe so.
Awesome. So this week, I just I've been Facebook friends with this now. Are you familiar with it? Well, I know you met her yesterday, but have you been following her on Facebook at all?
Actually, we just became friends on Facebook about 2 weeks ago, if that. And awesome. Before that, I knew of her through Hypnothoughts. So,
gotcha. Okay, cool.
Yep.
So I've been Facebook friends with her for a while, and then we were both at the Heartland Hypnosis Conference, and so I got to spend a little time with her. Really awesome person. And so this week we are talking to hypnotherapist Claudia Rickard. Now, Claudia is passionate about helping improve the quality of life for not only her but her clients, but also for anyone who wants to create change in their lives. What a fantastic thing that is. She's a speaker. She's talking at some hypnosis conferences. She spoke at Heartland. And she's also speaking, I believe, at Hypnothoughts. We'll find out that for sure in just a moment. She's also written an ebook called A Parent's Journey. And she is the, you should say, the inventor of the Bunny Talk process. So without further ado, let's bring on Claudia Rickard. Hello, Claudia.
Woo!
Welcome.
Fanfare. Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being on. I know it was a little bit confusing. I do a lot of different things, and they often get confused about different things because I've got 2 podcasts of my own, plus the one I do with Grant. We've got the Hypno News. So Claudia was actually on Hypno News yesterday. I hope that went well.
Yes, enjoyed it. Yeah.
Good. And Shawn was stepped up to the plate again, although nobody could see him. And
I was very transparent. I didn't hide anything. Or maybe I hid everything. Who knows?
I was trying to figure out what the blue like cupboard was. I don't know where that came from.
I don't know. By the way, you don't have it anymore. So
yeah, I've never
one of those troubleshooting things. Delete the thing that's in the way. So I did.
I had never seen that kind of a screen show up before. Hey, if you're listening right now, please drop us a message. Let us know where you're listening from, where you're watching from. Looks like we've got a few people. So who is here waiting with me? We've got Scott King. We've got Joe Baber again. Good to see you, Joe. Good to see you, Scott. Glad you could join us. Claudia,
Yes.
You had a talk at Heartland Hypnosis Conference. How'd that go?
I did.
That.
Yeah, I loved it. So it was my first session that I do with my clients. And so it was because I know there was a lot of people who were new hypnotists there. So it was to help them draw diagrams, because that's what I do. I draw diagrams for my clients because I use a lot of emotional intelligence so that they can then understand what is going on inside their brains. And then it was lots of techniques and strategies, stories that they can give to their clients. So I've honed this for like 13 years, getting the best of all of my training and putting it all together and all my diagrams. So I was able to share that with anybody who watched it. Yeah, anybody that was there.
That's great. That's fantastic. Wasn't that your first time speaking at a conference, by the way? Hypnosis
Well,
conference?
It was my first time live.
Live.
As in, because I did do a Zoom conference. I did one for Beryl Comer. She asked
Beryl.
me in she was speaking at the Elman's conference in January, and she was unwell, and we happened to be chatting. She said, would you mind doing my talk for me? And I said, yeah, sure. She said, and I said, when is it? And she said, in 2 hours. So I said, oh. I said, okay. And she goes, and it's the keynote speech. And I went, okay.
Oh,
so
Lord.
my voice went higher and higher. And I had a client first, so I couldn't even really prepare. So I'd like half an hour. But I did it on my first session, and I know it so well because, I just do. It's what I do. So that's what they got. And it was fine. And everybody was very kind. And of course, it was on Zoom. So people didn't have to watch it. So it was fine. But I got some really nice messages from people afterwards. So it was fun.
Excellent.
So that actually the keynote was my very first time speaking.
Wow.
And then,
it's not where people usually start. Start at the top.
Always good
work
to
your way
start at
down.
the beginning,
Right. Exactly.
Mr. Spock said that for all things, there is a first time.
So
nice.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you know what? Just do it. Well, I didn't even have time to get nervous about it. It was just like, okay, I'll just do it. And, but yeah, I like speaking. So I talk a lot.
Let's say hi to a couple of people real quick. First of all, please go follow Shawn. Again, that's on SK Hypnosis. You can also follow his Facebook page. I believe it's SK Hypnosis also, right, Shawn?
No, actually, that one is Shawn Kostiuk, Hypnotist. SK Hypnosis, surprisingly, was taken by somebody in Quebec. So,
what the hell? God, I hate that.
I mean, it's
difficult.
It's not parlez-vous en français, but
whatever.
Beat me to the punch there.
Also, head over to Claudia's website, claudiarickard.com. Go check her out. Let's say hi to a couple of people. Natalie Tooney, I got to, or Tony, I think you said Tony. Got to meet her. You met her also, Claudia. We met her. Went out to hibachi dinner with her and some friends, and then also barbecue that was not good. St. Louis barbecue was not good. Came recommended. We also have Arizona. Joe's down in Arizona, and Janaea Curry. Hello from Colorado. Nice to see you popping in. Good. We've got so if you're over on Facebook, sometimes it doesn't tell us who you are. If you just said hello, let us know who you are. That could be Susan Gilliam or one of our other friends. So Shawn, is HypnoThoughts your only conference that you go to, the Hypnosis Conference?
For now, it is, yes. Most of the rest of the conferences, for anybody who doesn't know, I hold down a full-time job as a digital learning consultant for a school division. So the Canadian school year runs basically from September to June, end of June. So HypnoThoughts fits perfectly with summer holidays and before you totally go into the I need to detox from all the work I've been doing. So good timing for Scott on that one, Scott Sandland and company that organize it. But yeah, in about 4 years when I looks like that's Benito.
Benito, yes, he's been a guest on the show before.
Yeah, but once I hit the proverbial early retirement, which is not that far away, older than I look, folks. It will make.
You don't look a day over 70. You don't look a day over 70, Shawn.
That's good because I've got about 20 years to get there. So 19 years to get there. 18 and a half years to get there. Okay. Who's counting?
Who's counting indeed? Hey, if you're a hypnotist out there, please drop your handle down there. Drop your website. We like to share the love. Somebody wants to work with you. Love to have them choose you. Interestingly, we leave this open. I'm not trying to steal all the clients for myself, but if you want to work with me, of course you can. Let's see. So here's Natalie says, what we had wasn't a good representation of St. Louis barbecue, and I hope your tooth is feeling better today, Jim. Thank you. Yeah, it's been I'll tell you guys, it's been a rough couple of weeks because I went straight from Heartland, then I went to Arizona, did some stuff down there. And then I got back and then got my tooth pulled, and I had to delay the podcast with Victoria yesterday. Couldn't do Hypno News. I almost bailed out of today, but I want to make sure that I had a chance to chat with Claudia some more because she's doing some great work. Claudia,
yes.
Tell us now. For some reason I got this idea that you hadn't been doing this very long, but you've been doing this for 13 years.
Yes. So yeah.
Tell us about the whole idea of this show is, of course, get the app, but it's the Hypnosis Hero. So each week we bring on a guest hypnotist. Shawn and I are both hypnotists. Brian Bay is a hypnotist. And we bring on a guest hypnotist. So in case you're tuning in for the first time, we're going to find out about Claudia. We're going to find out about her hero's journey. How did she get into hypnosis? Maybe what her thoughts are, maybe her different styles. She's got a protocol she's going to share with us. And then live hypnosis through the screen. It's going to be awesome. Claudia, tell us how you got into this world of hypnosis.
My son had it for something, and I wanted to know what it was about because it was like, I thought, oh, what is this? Now, bearing in mind, I'd already been with people a lot anyway, because I used to be, I still am, because once you are something, you always are, an aromatherapist. And then I did 3 years of, I was doing my degree in counselling. I actually did 3 years. I never finished it because I was going through a divorce. So I never finished my final year. Why was I doing counselling? Because I was wondering why on earth I was in this terrible marriage. And I think we mentioned that at one of the nights. But I called him a certain name. Anyway, it was... so that was what started it. My son had it, and I wanted to learn what it was about, and I just fell in love with it. And this is it.
Awesome.
This is what I was, meant to do. So yeah. And once you start down the hypnosis road, that's all, it's just more. You just want it all the time, don't you? Well, I do anyway.
Yeah, really. I mean, it's my whole life. Really, hypnosis is the most important thing to me. Most of my friends are in the business or in some way, personal growth of some sort. I would love it if we can make Claudia the big star over here. She could be the big, let's see. No, that's not it either. I would like her to be right here. Do you know how to make that happen, Shawn?
Well, let's see if we can make it work. Okay, try that. Oh, go back one.
That's fun. Keep moving all over the place.
There we go.
There we are. Fantastic. And then we do, and then we do this. There we go. Awesome. Claudia, you are the star of the show. You are the guest. You're the Hypnosis Hero this week. So you got started because you want to find out about it because your son was using hypnosis.
Yeah, he had it for some trauma that he'd been going through. Okay. And then it became apparent that this was my purpose. And I've done everything I can to learn for people with abuse, trauma, and that is my speciality. So anxiety, trauma, and PTSD. So significant emotional events. I'm in the state of North Carolina, so that's what I have to use, the word significant emotional events. So
right.
But yeah,
kind of amazing how well it works for things like that, right? The trauma, the PTSD, all of that. I mean, you can get just so much relief, even just that first session, so much relief.
Well, that's what I do. So I do emotional intelligence training. So that's all my diagrams. And then I'm an advanced blast technique practitioner, which is bilateral movements, bilateral analysis stimulation technique. I know a lot of people are doing other techniques like that. I mean, I've already trained in IEMT as well, and I'm a certified havening practitioner. So I use that as well. So I use, I will learn anything that I can to be the best I can for my clients. So I use a combination of those two, and it's phenomenal. And again, narcissistic husbands, I seem to get a lot of those as well, because I have a lot of, experience in that department. So yeah, it's, I think what comes to you is what you have experience in.
Gotcha. Gotcha. I wanted to, Shawn, you have any questions or anything you want to pop in there with?
Maybe just, excuse me, just an observation. What you just said is so key. We often tend to run into the clients that are everything that we have experience for. And it's kind of weird how that happens. And I've had that happen to me a few times. And it always kind of, I don't know, I want to say it freaks me out, but it is kind of just one of those weird things.
Yeah, it just is. So I went on, and the way I met Beryl was because we did our diploma together as a Nightingale dementia consultants. So that was how I met Beryl Comer. And we became, good friends while we were doing this diploma. And together, actually, now we're collaborating on a book right now. So that's quite a fun project. So, but yes, I also decided to do my sleep talk. Have you heard of the Golding process? The Golding sleep talk process?
Sleep talk. Is that from Cheryl Ellman? Is that?
Cheryl Ellman teaches it, and so does Beryl.
Yeah.
But it's actually not their process. They're both trainers in it. And so the what it is, it's the 2-minute gift that a parent gives their child when they're asleep. So when the child is going into the alpha theta, so then the parent gives a certain statement. And so I do that. And then as I was doing this, I was this training with Cheryl. I was telling her about something that I always did with my daughter. And she said, you've got to do something with that. And that's the bunny talk process.
Gotcha. So that's your version of sleep talk.
Well, it's something, it's not a sleep talk. It's just an anchor that we created, and it created a bridge. So I'm happy to, would you like me to go on? about the sleep.
We're going to demonstrate it. We're going to demonstrate it later, right?
Yeah, I can do it with you now.
Oh, no. We save the hypnosis till later.
Okay, but it's not hypnosis.
Oh, okay, sure. What do you got? Show us what you got.
It's so who's got children? You've got Shawn? Okay.
Mine are older.
Okay, but when they were little, did you ever play shadow puppets?
Yeah, it used to amaze them.
Did you, like, little, whatever you did? I mean, you could find a shadow now and you can make a little shadow, wherever you are. But there was this, my daughter and I, so she's my youngest. I've got 5 children. So we did this little process together where we were like doing our little bunnies, and we did this every morning for years and years. And it like mummy bunny and baby bunny, and it was just became this thing that we did. Of course, I didn't know at the time, but what was I doing? We were creating an anchor, an anchor into the feeling of just unconditional love, because we did all the days of the week. That was how she learned her times tables, and sometimes I was the baby bunny, and sometimes she was the teacher, and we just did this, and it was like. But it was always love, okay? I didn't know how important this was ever going to be until she turned 15. And then one night she came through to me at 3 o'clock in the morning, and she was sobbing, absolutely sobbing her eyes out. And I got up and I went through to her bedroom, climbed into bed with her, and I was just holding her. She was absolutely sobbing. And I said, "Do you want to tell me about it?" And she said, No, I can't. And don't ask me what made me do it, but I got my mummy bunny out, and she got her baby bunny out with the little ears down, and then she told Mummy Bunny. That was the bridge.
Wow.
She couldn't tell me, but she knew that she could tell Mummy Bunny because there was unconditional love. She remembered the feeling that she could tell it was safe. It was the safe place. This is why it's so important. We don't know how we play with our kids. And this is why I wrote the book, because as I say, 5 children, 2 are stepchildren. I've just got about every T-shirt you can imagine of all the mistakes I've made, shared my journey, we learn through our mistakes. I've just about got it right with my daughter, I think. But even then I still mess up because I'm human. But that was incredible. And I was telling Cheryl about it, and she said, "You have to do something with that. People need to know." So I did. So that was why I wrote the bunny, parent's journey and the bunny talk process. And funnily enough, my daughter, she's now 17, and she often goes for a walk with me. And she said, and we were talking about the bunny talk, and she said, because of that, I can now tell you anything. And she does. She shares everything with me. Sometimes it's a little bit too much information, but that's okay. That's okay. I feel privileged. I feel humble that she absolutely trusts me, and she can tell me anything. And that because Mummy Bunny was the bridge. Now she can just tell me anything because she knows that I am Mummy Bunny, obviously, and she knows it's safe. But at that moment in time, when she was 15, she wasn't sure, because it was huge. Yeah. And as I say, it just became more of my purpose of why I see people with abuse.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
Let's say hi to Jim. Jim says stud. I'm not sure who he's talking about. Surely Shawn. I'm pretty sure it's Shawn. Couldn't be me today. I'm peaked. So this is interesting. And hey guys, if you're watching right now, Shawn, will you post the link down to Claudia's gift?
I can do that.
Thank you. Claudia has a free gift that she's giving out tonight. It's her. You want to tell them about it? It's your free relief kit, Claudia. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's a free e-guide. It's an emotional relief kit. So it's for anxiety, trauma. It's for There's a lot of blast techniques on there, so bilateral things, tapping. It's just quick tools that people can use, and then there's 3 relaxation recordings. Of course, it's
fantastic.
It is relaxation. It's it's just and I know people listen to them to go to sleep too, so it is your relaxation.
That's great.
Yeah,
that's great, guys. So if you're listening later on Spotify or Apple Music or something, the website is ClaudiaRickard.hypnosis.com/free-relief-kit. You can also find it in the show notes on the podcast. ClaudiaRickard.hypnosis.com/free-relief-kit. Very nice of you to give that gift away. Claudia, appreciate that.
Pleasure.
I wanted to say, Shawn, you said something interesting too, and I love that you said that we kind of find the clients find us that we have the skill to help or something like that. It was interesting because we did an episode a couple of weeks ago with Scott King, and we talked about analytical folks, and somebody actually contacted me, wanted to work together because they're very analytical, and really wanted to be able to get hypnotized and get some relief from what they were going through. And we've one session has been very successful because I'm very analytical myself. It took me a long time to train myself for hypnosis. Because I didn't know any better. I thought, well, my eyes don't stick, when the guy says to, so I must not be getting hypnotized, or, I'd spend all this time kind of listening to the person talk, and so I don't know are either one of you highly analytical?
No.
Shawn, you probably are. Yeah.
I have to flip between analytical for tech support and creative to actually fix the problem.
Yeah, that makes sense. So one of the things that drove me nuts was, and it still drives me nuts, is that so many hypnotists use a progressive relaxation, and it's not the best one for everybody. And so when you're an analytical person like I was, I remember they'd be taking me on the beach, and I'm thinking, well, what kind of sand is it? Is it that nice white sand, or is it rocky? And then they'd say, you go out into the water a little bit. I'm like, I don't go out in the water in the ocean. What are you, crazy? I don't do that. So and that's what happens for us analytical folks. So it was great to have that breakthrough with this client. And then I got an email from someone. I wanted to run this by you guys. It looks like Brian tried to connect, but he didn't make it.
He was here for about 30 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah. Brian, if you're watching, if you messaged me, I can't, there
he is.
Can't see because I'm using my phone. There's Brian. Hey, Brian, welcome.
Hey, my apologies. Computer needed restarts to get the camera to function properly.
Oh,
so
no.
Yay for updates.
Oh, fantastic. Don't you love it when you have no choice? So let me just run this by you all. Okay. So I got this, because it's going to be interesting for us to address this, and maybe the person will actually be watching. I got an email from someone, and he saw my video. If you can't be hypnotized, you lose, my TEDx talk. And several things came up, and I would like your thoughts. This is what the person says. In the talk, I say 90% of the people can be hypnotized, but I have very little to say about the remaining 10%. So if you guys want, you can address that, the remaining 10%. So hold on to that thought. And then for some, are these people who for some reason, there's some psychological reason, can't be hypnotized? Some quirk about their brains are wired? Do they all fall into 3 categories of people who just say they can't be hypnotized? And of course, the 3 that I'm talking about are too smart, too stubborn, or I don't believe in hypnosis. So first off, what do you guys think about that other? And what are your thoughts? Do you think, is it 90% of people can be hypnotized? Can everybody be hypnoptized? Claudia, you're the guest hypnotist.
Yeah, I personally think everybody can be hypnotized because it's like, all it is a flow state. It's just that they don't want to use that word, hypnosis, so don't use it. It's right. Like if they can watch TV and they can utilize their imagination And if they can think that Superman can fly, and they get involved with, I don't know, whatever film they're watching, they may get angry with it or like frustrated and think, what are they doing? Or like, please shut the door, or just move out the way, or whatever it is. It's like then they're in hypnosis. It's eyes open hypnosis. There is eyes open hypnosis. And I personally think that when football players or whatever, anybody playing sport, when they're in the zone, they're in a kind of state. And to me, that is eyes open hypnosis. They're in their own flow state. That's my personal opinion.
I like it. Shawn, what do you think?
I'm going to remind you of Bob.
Yeah. True. Yeah.
And
explain to the folks at home about Bob.
So for the folks that haven't seen that episode, that was what, 3 months ago now, 2 months ago.
I wish I was good about numbering episodes. I can't keep track of the numbers. It'd be easier to do that. But if you go back and look, I forget his last name now. Bob Martin. Bob Martin. Yeah. Go back and look at the Hypnosis Hero playlist on youtube.com/Jim Kellner. Go ahead, Shawn.
So Bob almost literally rewrote your hate of pineapple on pizza. Almost.
Right.
That close.
And it was completely much. And it was a completely waking state.
Yes. And I 100% agree with what Claudia said about it being a flow state. And the way I always explain it to clients that think that they can't be hypnotized is well, you fall asleep, don't you?
Yeah.
If they say yes, great. If they say no, well, what kind of insomnia are we dealing with? But
right.
I always tell them that it's that sweet spot right before you fall asleep. You don't know you're falling asleep. Nobody ever seems to remember when exactly they fall asleep. Nobody can tell me that. That's right there. And I have a perfect example for watching TV. So everybody knows my nickname is Captain. I am a huge Star Trek fan. I drink tea Earl Grey hot all the time.
Nerd.
Yeah, you just keep going with it.
Nerd.
until April the 5th, 2063, when we have first contact with the Vulcans. But anyways,
is that tea with or without the maple syrup?
No, maple syrup is for pancakes, man. Anyway, I just happened to be, this would be back in my university days, and it just happened to be an episode of the original series that I had not seen, and it was really, really intense. They were going up against a space amoeba, and everything was, and I was watching the show, and my ex-fiance's mother at the time come around behind me and literally just grabbed me right in the middle of it, and I almost, and I say I stress almost because I probably missed her by that much, knocked her to the ground. So yeah, was I hypnotized by that episode? Oh yeah, I was into it. Somebody broke the trance.
Gotcha. Brian, what are your thoughts? How many people can be hypnotized?
So key difference, can and willing to. Can, yes, anybody can. You have the people who want to stay, play Stump the Hypnotist. I'm too cool for hypnosis. I'm too scared, self-conscious. I'm going to do something stupid, and people are going to laugh at me. Yay for insecurity. But I agree with every single one of you, especially Claudia. You talked about sports. I remember playing soccer growing up, hockey, and you grab the puck and you go just tearing up the ice. Yeah, you hear just sort of it's that dull roar of people getting excited. But then it's like just out of nowhere, you hear that one voice that's familiar with your teammate, calling for the puck, and everything else, like you block everything out and you ignore all that excess noise. And then, the whistle is, when the play stops. But it's those different things, just like when you're hypnotized, you're just like, the three common things that I get is I felt like I was floating on a cloud. I remember hearing your voice, but I can't remember anything that you said. And then there's people who are like, I just took a nap for 8 days, even though it's been, just a matter of minutes. They just don't remember anything. So the anybody can, it's are you willing to, and are you brave enough to cross into that, next threshold of the unknown of a better life?
Absolutely. Great way of putting it.
And you'll know if they're resistant, because if you do the magnetic fingers, they'll just keep it there for ages.
Yeah, when their fingers start shaking.
I will not be. But
when they just get fatigued, you're like, all right, you're approaching muscle failure. Just let it happen. And people tend to read way too much into it.
It's always great when you see that happening. Like at a show, I just did a couple of tests at a show I did down in Prescott, Arizona, and they were doing and you could see, and they're just looking at it going, no, they're not coming together. They won't do it. And then they're coming together and they're getting so angry at themselves. It's like, just relax, let it happen, guys. So Scott says, for nerd, never ending radical dude. I don't know about that, but okay.
I think he was talking about Bob or
yes,
Shawn.
Bob is Shawn the nerd. I mean and then we got Bob is awesome. Yes, and Benito was there at the show. He did a great set. Thanks for showing up and doing that set. Did some hypnosis too. It's so funny. You see them and they're just fighting it, and you're like, no, you'd be a great subject. You should come up. I want to throw something out to you guys though. Have you worked with people with cognitive issues? And let me just give you the only two people that I think maybe had some trouble with hypnosis, maybe they weren't actually getting hypnotized, was a young lady I worked with who had she was born with cognitive damage. I don't know what we're supposed to call it these days, so I don't want to say the word.
Racist.
So it's not that word. It's the other R word. Anyway, but with it was a mental cognitive defect from birth, and then there was another young man that I worked with who had gotten significant brain trauma from a bicycle accident, and both of them, I don't know if they just weren't able to get down into deep. My belief about it at the time was they weren't able to focus, and I think that's what kind of prevented them from getting the results they wanted. But I think one of the things about hypnosis, we have to separate a few things. We have to separate hypnosis, the actual place of hypnosis, the brainwaves thing, from getting the desired results, because someone can get hypnotized but still not get the desired results for a variety of reasons. And then also, and I'll let you guys respond to that. Any response to that before we go on to the next part of this email?
Yeah, I've seen people with cognitive impairment. I mean, I've got messages from that, to say that I can from their neurologist. So so it was okay. But I literally, it was because they were just fuzzy and they wanted to be more clear-minded. So I literally did do relaxation. So it was the muscle relaxation. So my voice is, and that's in my free relaxation recordings, because I do have a nice voice when I do that, even if I say so myself. But it's because for me, it's when you're relaxed, you're calm. When you're calm, you're clear-minded. And when you're clear-minded, you can handle any situation that comes your way. And it is about getting to this is what they wanted. So we always don't, we don't do what we want, do we? We do what they want. What do they want? And if they want to be clear-minded, they want to be relaxed, then that is what we do. So yeah, I have them.
Well, and I said that's thank you, Benito. It's developmental disability. That's what it's called now. It's been like that for 20 years. I just couldn't think of the word right now off hand. Thank you, Benito. And then we also have anyone. Joe says anyone, just depends on what they respond to best. I'm glad you said that, Claudia, because I'll tell you, the young man who'd had the brain injury. So his mother had wanted him to do it. I can't remember exactly what it was. Her goal for him was. I think it was to become more motivated to get out and do things. He was kind of going through some depression too. But after a couple of sessions of getting to know him and getting some rapport with him, I found out what he really wanted was he wanted to be able to talk to girls again. That was his thing. He became developmentally disabled. He got the accident when he was about 17 and he'd missed out. you know, on all the dating and everything. And it was really sad to listen to him, but he wanted to be able to talk, you know, with a woman and be able to ask her out on a date and that kind of a thing. And so he definitely listened to his hypnosis more often after I found out what he really wanted. So that was a good point.
Can you imagine almost like the reverse hypnosis that happened? So what was the time frame between when he got into the accident and to when you finally had the breakthrough of what he wanted?
You know, it was about 6 or 7 years, I think.
So he learns, hey, you got schwacked by something, you know, rang your bell, and people keep reiterating brain damage, mental, you know, cognitive decline, developmental delay, you know, insert cool buzzword here. And then he starts believing it.
Yeah.
I can't talk to girls. I can't, there's something wrong with me. I'm broken. You know, everybody's got to, you know, coddle me like I'm a Fabergé egg. And he believes that he's no longer strong and he's no longer, you know, he loses his sense of self-worth. And it's incredible about how words can, you know, both be meaningless, but if you plant that seed, you know, you can do, you know, it's a double-edged sword. You can really mess with somebody, or you can really motivate and help somebody drive and thrive.
Yeah, that's right. And then he hypnotized himself with that belief that he can't. So
everybody conditioned him.
Yeah, we de-hypnotize people.
We do
a lot of the time.
And I know that sounds crazy to people, and I'll tell you that the best example of that was, I was talking to Tom Silver one time, and he goes, "Hey, have you ever set your keys down and then forgot where you put them?" And I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Weren't you hypnotized then? When you put them down, you were in a trance state, and so to find them, you had to break out of that trance to go find the damn things." So that made it
or we'll do you one better. You're walking around the house with keys in your hand, and I'm going, I don't know what they look like. What is your keychain? What it's got a red tab on it. It looks like this, and they're just like,
Yep. Did not get an invite to the wedding, you know, Scott. You know what? Let me just say this too. So I will say too.
Neither did I, Scott. Neither did I. I'm still in therapy.
The other part of this is it's completely possible that I just didn't use the correct technique that would have had a breakthrough for them. I worked with them 3 or 4 times each. And that's always a possibility, because we're in the practice of hypnotherapy, just like we're in the practice of medicine or practice of law, trying to find the right thing for them. So maybe I just didn't get that. And so if you subscribe to the brainwave theory, then anyone who goes into sleep and comes out of sleep can experience hypnosis. And there are different theories about it. So anyway, looking for the phone, but you're talking about Becca. Good to see you. Sorry we couldn't make it last week. Janaea says that I've been driving and thought that I lost my keys. There's some deep trance there.
I have. I mean, Jim, you're familiar with the Pacific Northwest, and there's parts of I-5 and 405 where there is just nothing but trees on the sides of the road. And I've been driving, and it's like you're talking on somebody on speakerphone or whatever, and they're like, "Hey, where are you at?" I'm on my way to go meet up with them, and I kind of just look around, and I'm like, I have absolutely no idea. I'm on the freeway. I know that. I can tell. I'm pointed in the right direction, and then you got to drive for a little bit and be like, "Oh, I'm at this mile marker or this cross street," and then the Benito talks about taking highway hypnosis to a whole new level. If you've ever been in the military and tried to drive a Humvee at freeway speeds, it's like driving a Lego. This really loud, and the fan kicks on, and all you just hear is this. The only way I can describe it is if a jet engine could be considered white noise, you eventually just kind of block it out and you just go, and then when it's hot, you lack the ability to cool down. And when it's freezing cold, you lack the ability to warm up. And you're just sitting there going, oh my God.
Are you sure you weren't driving in Saskatchewan?
If I was driving in Saskatchewan, I would be like severe hypothermia. But
wouldn't we all? Okay, so hey guys, I want to get to the next part of the email because I think it's so interesting, and it's good that we're talking about this because it's we're trying to break myths and help people get a better understanding of it. So we've got yes, and we got Becca saying, "Have you had your haircut, Brian?" Has he had his haircut?
Yes, from the last time the salad was getting a little lengthy and the
show off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm due for a haircut. This is like I'm almost a hippie now.
Yeah, me too. It's been a rough week for me. Haven't hit the show. So okay, so this is what else. Now I think so. Here's the thing. So in the TEDx talk, I talk about there's three kinds of people that can't be that oftentimes think they can't be hypnotized. They think they're too smart, they're too stubborn, or they don't believe in it. Of course, and I debunk each of those reasons. And the person goes on to say, I don't think those are my problems. It's, I know a lot about it. I'm a pretty smart person. I'm stubborn usually, but I'm open to this process. And then, so it says they've researched it enough. So they basically know what hypnosis is and isn't. He's not scared of it. But this is what he says. I don't think it's an ability to visualize. I followed the finger lock test, and you know what? I really wish I said this in the video, but I gotta say it again. But anyway, I followed the finger lock test used in the video. I was very easily able to picture the glue in my hands. I could visualize them duct taped together, clamped in a vise. I did this all, but when you suggested that I would not be able to separate my hands on the count of three, pop, they came apart with no problem. And this has been the case for other convincers. So let's talk about convincers, guys. And the reason I don't use convincers in my hypnotherapy practice is for this reason exactly. So this gentleman, this person, they've tried many, many different convincers. We're talking finger magnets, locked hands, probably eye lock as well, but they're not working on them, so they can't be hypnotized. What are your thoughts? Guest Hypno Hero, Claudia.
I'm sure I remember reading something in an Ericksonian thing, and he would then use that with them. I can't remember.
Sure,
exactly
utilization.
What it was. So, but it was he used it because they were being what's the word? They were just being unhelpful. So he used that. So great, you're being really unhelpful, and that's, or you're not wanting to do this. So that's wonderful. Well, your mind is working for us then. Just turned it on back, So it's because he was so clever with his words, and he said, and now because of that, but I've never I've had one or two youngsters, but most people can always put their you can lift their arms up and they'll just stay there. It's like I don't often get people, but I don't often use convincers either. But I will do that, and I don't know. It's what does anybody else say?
Yeah, Brian, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it depends on the individual. And I know I sound like an attorney going, well, it depends. There's never no, it's not an exact science. So yes, it is. It's algebra, and the X factor is the unknown value. Jim, I remember the first time, it was right before I met you. I had tried hypnosis or hypnotherapy once. And this lady was, oh, I want you to pick a spot. Think of a peaceful place, a place that's, brings you happiness. And I'm like, there's lots of places that bring me happiness on all sides of the spectrum. And I'm sitting here counting the holes in the ceiling. And I just become more and more, like, I'm growing more and more, frankly, pissed off. And it's like half an hour of listening to her just drone on about, and she's all in her own little world, and, chakra beads and all the patchouli and more that I could handle. And I finally just went, okay, yeah, I'm done. Fun's over. And then you agreed to work with me. And our first session, you were like, hey, go get comfortable. And I shared that with you. And you were like, all right, we're just going to go hit it hard. And you're like, you gave me specific instructions. I want you to, visualize X, instruction in Y, do this. And then I called, that was about all I remember. And I called like 45 minutes later going, I'm terribly sorry. I passed out through the entire thing. You're like, yeah, you were kind of snoring, but I can edit that out in the audio that I'm going to send to you. But I found that the convincers are kind of like you don't need the convincers, if you will. It's like, hey, do this. Hey, see how well that worked? And it's like, all right, cool. You just don't pay attention to it because the person that you're trying to hypnotize, the subject, they don't know how it works. And you're just kind of like, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. And Brian Brushwood, the Scam School YouTube guy, he always talks about like, if you're trying to do a magic trick and it doesn't hit and you're going to screw something up, you're like, okay, here, hold that thought. And you shift to another person. You go, real quick, we're going to try something. And you never go back to that. And the kind of the biggest way for, there's kind of a saying like with magic that the way to completely destroy your perception of magic is to learn magic tricks and how it works. Because all you're doing is just lying to people. And it's kind of the same. It's kind of can be the similar thing where people are like, oh, hypnosis, like that's all it is. And you're like, yeah. And you're like, oh, I feel so let down. I thought it was like a Harry Potter wizard there for a minute.
Right.
But when you have that experience with somebody, it's just incredibly powerful. They're just like, they kind of go like, I don't care that I don't know how you did it. You solved my problem. You fixed the issue. I need nothing else. And
well, Brian, that's a perfect example of talking to your client and figuring out kind of the way they think about things, because I was able to figure out pretty quickly that you're pretty analytical. You got some ADHD going on. And so when you talked about the other experience, it's like, of course, when you're telling an analytical person or somebody with ADHD to relax over and over again, it drives them nuts. They're like, I am relaxed. Shut up. So that's why you got to take my class, guys. At HypnoThoughts this year, analyze this. I'm going to teach you how to do that. There's different inductions that you can use that are going to be helpful. Thanks for sharing that. That was good stuff, Brian.
I don't know. Hopefully it was relevant or kind of an example. That's the best thing I could think of.
Yeah. Shawn, any thoughts on that? He's done all the convincers, but he can't be hypnotized.
I tend to use those more as an exercise, and I never phrase it as a test or a convincer. Let's try this exercise. And that comes from the teaching background, because the minute people think it's a test, it automatically becomes a pass or a fail. And they think, oh my God, I failed. That's it. I can't do it. And so if you phrase it as an exercise, whatever the outcome is, you can do exactly what Erickson did. You can redirect that back into the trance.
Oh, that's you bring up an excellent point, because if they're coming to you for like some therapeutic reason, there's already something that is a challenge or an obstacle in their life that chances are they're feeling self-conscious about, or they're already feeling like they failed at life, and they're saying, hey, I want to fix it. And then, that's
your in right there.
I agree. Most of my clients just wouldn't come to me to be irritated, to sort of like they're not resistant. They want help, so they're going to go with it. So I don't have that. And half of them are in hypnosis anyway. As soon as they see me, it's because they're in that. If they're in a state of trauma, they're in hypnosis. So
that's my most famous question, and I had the pleasure of asking a grade 11 science class that exact question. Well, can you hypnotize me? How do you know you're not hypnotized already?
Yeah. Whoa. Mine's blown. Here's
who teach their vegetables. People raise their hand. Every single one of you are lying.
So here's a thing too. I've literally never done convincers in hypnotherapy, never. And I never have, because I think you only have something to lose, right? If the convincer doesn't work. Now, what I would say is when I'm using convincers, or if I'm doing like some stuff with street hypnosis or stage, utilization is super important, so if they don't come together, that's great. That's perfect. Just wanted to see where you were at. Now let's go on to this. So you never want them to fail. I do want to say too, there was a thing, and I've got to get a hold of. So Marion Spurgeon had shared something a while back. I wish I would have bookmark this thing, but it was a study I looked at. It was a study that showed that there was no correlation between being able to experience hypnotic phenomena like, finger magnets or eye lock, that kind of thing, and successful hypnotherapy treatment. So in other words, somebody that could not get their fingers to come together magnetically or stick together could still quit smoking with hypnosis. So there's no real correlation there. I think it's really just sort of a little trickery that we're using on some clients. If you feel like that's going to help you, fine, do that. But there's really no need for it. Let's catch up on some notes here too. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to say about that is it sounds to me like the person may have only watched YouTube videos or listened to audios, because I've got to think that if there was a hypnotist in front of them, they would have said, hey, look, that doesn't matter. Or, okay, great. Now we're going to try this one. I'm not sure what you mean.
Becca was asking what part of the UK you're from.
I'm from York. Well, I last lived in Yorkshire, but I actually live in North Carolina.
Oh, where the freedom is.
Yeah.
That's right. So, hey, Scott, I'm not sure what you're talking about. Jim, not even an Elman eye lock. I don't know. I don't know all the things that he tried, if that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, I think he was talking about the different, steps for induction. Yeah, the induction.
Yeah.
I use a lot of the Elman stuff.
Yeah, it's not foolproof. Even when I'm teaching like a street hypnosis, or when we're out doing street hypnosis, I used to quit. Like if their fingers didn't come together, well, okay, not a great subject. But what I discovered was actually, oh, that's great. Okay, now let's do this, and then you get them to do like eye lock or something or a different phenomena, and they may have great results with that. So you really never know. You got to keep going 2 or 3 times with these things at least.
It's not Becca, a one size. It's not a one size fits all.
Exactly.
There's several tools in the toolbox,
and it could be just you set it not quite right for them. There's so many variables. Becca, thank you for the kind words. She listened to one of my sleep videos the other night, and it worked really well. Thank you. I wonder if that was the fireplace one. Getting a lot of good comments on that one. Resistance. Yep. I don't know if he's resistant. He seems like he really wants it to happen. I think he's too much in his head about it. If I'm going to reply to him, I'm going to send him a message, but there's just like so many variables. It's like, there's just so much about it. So we've got an M151 series Jeeps. Not sure what that's about.
He's talking about the Humvees.
Gotcha. All right. I cheat. So Benito says, I have a clock on the wall that tells time backwards. So what I do is do a regression type technique, like an NLP timeline. When I say you may notice when you open your eyes, that you may see the room a different color, maybe brighter. You may even see things moving backwards. Even when you look at the clock, you might even see time going backwards. And then I have them, I take them into trance. That's funny. That'll work. Joe says arm levitation, Dr. Unconscious Mind usually works on most anyone. DR Unconscious Mind is useful for gathering information. Oh, useful for gathering information. I'd love to know more about that, Joe. Maybe I'm thinking the wrong way about convincers.
I'm looking at Joe's avatar, and that's probably classified. He may be a spy. I'm not alleging, but I'm not denying either.
So Janaea says, I feel like some people, myself included, respond better to literal or pragmatic suggestions. E.g., my arm is so relaxed it won't move versus your arm floating because of the helium balloons. Great example there. And can relate to Brian's experience. Gotcha. Yeah. Oh, so she had tried hypnosis before, same like Brian, and had some difficulty with the progressive relaxation, I think.
And hypnotherapy is going to be like any, mental health therapy. You need to find somebody who you guys work well together, that there's a chemistry and a compatibility. And just because you didn't work with one hypnosis, it's their style and their approach, where you got another person who's just going to drop you like a bag of bricks.
Yeah. That's one of the difficult things too, because you run into a lot of people that'll be like, well, I tried to get hypnotized once and it didn't work, so I can't be hypnotized. And it's like, you just didn't get hypnotized that time. And oftentimes you find out that it was their uncle's brother's cousin who took a class once or read a book in hypnosis and they didn't get hypnotized, you know?
It could be something where it's like, oh, I paid all this crazy money, and so therefore the more expensive it is, or several $100s, I expect these results now, you know, like,
true, yeah.
Like the resolution to all your problems is like Amazon Prime or Domino's Pizza, you know, 30 minutes or less.
Yeah, exactly. You've had all this problem for like 30 years, but it's meant to go in one session.
And
I
it's
think
like managing expectations is huge.
It is. And I think a lot of hypnotists do a disservice to the profession by saying, I can cure people in one session. You know, it's one session, because you know that can't be universal, right? Everybody is different. So you just can't say I can cure everybody every time.
There have been cases, I'm sure, with all of us when you have done something and it was just
sometimes
because I don't know, whatever you said, it was the right thing, or they were ready, or whatever it was. You know, we've all had that. So I'm sure.
Or you get some quack that is so full of ego going, well, I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread and it didn't work. So now I'm going to gaslight you to kind of preserve my reputation. So it's not me with the hypnotist. It's you. You did something wrong. You suck. And this is why I'm not giving your money back, you know, or whatever. And that just, you know, throws mud on the entire profession.
Becca said, yep, I actually really like resistance sort of ways to get into trance. I sometimes like to resist falling because I find it fun, but then they use it as a way to help ending up in trance. Janaea, same. Not even an eye lock. No, I don't use an eye lock for therapeutic stuff. Any failure just reinforces that hypnosis is not mind control. That's a really great point too. I had a hypnotherapist after a show one time come up and go, well, does that make it, was that person really not hypnotized because they didn't do that one thing? But they did a lot of other things. And I was like, no, I think that actually proves that they were hypnotized, because if they were faking it, wouldn't they do everything? That was kind of my thought behind it. A couple more comments and we'll move on.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Brian.
I was going to say that kind of just reinforces that, you know, you're not going to get somebody up there to, you know, the consent is still that huge thing where they're not going to do something that they wouldn't ordinarily do. You're just stripping that filter away and giving them a platform to do the silly, goofy stuff that is already inside them.
Yeah, it's true. I was on the stage show with Rich Guzzi. I was doing all sorts of mad stuff. God, so embarrassing. But I couldn't see the audience naked. Just didn't work for me.
There were probably some people in the audience that you did not want to see naked.
Maybe that's what it was. But otherwise, I did everything else, but I really couldn't see anybody. And I was like thinking, oh, you know, am I not hypnotized then? But I knew I was, because I was doing everything else that was like really crazy. So, but it's a bit embarrassing.
Joe says, frame it as some people can achieve various phenomenon easier without training, and some need more experience and trance to achieve it. Yeah, I mean, it's just such a variable thing. And again, it's not necessary. That's not actually hypnosis, and that doesn't prove hypnosis or not. So I think it's just my thought about it. So I don't know what this means, Joe, but anyway, yep.
Oh, that's his one and done. That's his avatar.
Oh, gotcha.
Photo.
His avatar.
And I'm
that's from when he was at War Games, 1980.
Yeah, but before my time.
Claudia, did you do hypnosis while you lived in the UK as well?
Yes. Yeah. I had a practice for like 8-9 years.
So how have you noticed? Have you seen a difference between between UK and America as far as hypnotherapy goes?
Oh, huge! Absolutely huge.
Tell us more.
Well, first of all, we have the NHS, as you may know. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people will tend to shy away and just want to be, they don't want to pay for any kind of mental health things. And then, fortunately for me, I was really lucky because I was already doing aromatherapy and I had clients straight away. So I had all of them. They then came for hypnosis. So I was, as I say, lucky.
Was that kind of because of my understanding is that the UK has more of like a socialized medicine.
That's the NHS. That's what she's talking about.
Okay.
You don't have to pay for it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
they can go to counseling for free. They can go for, and it's like, so people don't want to have to pay for anything. And so, yes, whereas in America, you were so much more open-minded to looking after yourself and your own mental health. It's just acceptable, and it's still relatively, where I'm from, Yorkshire, it can be still seen as a, oh no. London probably not so much. Again, the South, but again, some places in the South, you've got to fight it. You've got to really explain it. It's considered very woo-woo, and it's to me, hypnosis is not woo-woo.
It's so funny you say that about the UK and the US, because here in the US, we have I guess it's not as prominent as yours, but still, it doesn't cover, so much is covered by insurance. People here don't want to spend money either. Well, is that covered by my insurance? Oh no, I don't want to do it then. And I always remind them, well, are the cigarettes covered by your insurance? I don't know.
And sometimes you have to just call them out for what their excuses are, and you go,
sure.
What it sounds like you're finding, what I'm noticing is that you're finding a problem for every solution that I'm offering.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about Shawn up in Canada? What do you got going on up there with the is hypnosis covered by your health plans?
Only if you are a licensed psychologist or social worker of some sort, then yes, it would be, because they would have either a provincial or federal license, depending on where they're at. That is very few and far between, though.
So if I'm understanding you correctly, Shawn, you have to be some sort of mental health practitioner with a license who just happens to use hypnosis as a treatment.
You just hit the nail right on the head. It's for them, it's just another tool in the bucket, whereas for us, it's really the focus of what we do.
Yeah.
And that's the same in the state of North Carolina. So, I cannot call myself a hypnotherapist. I can't use the word therapist. I got into trouble, actually.
I can. Oh, wow. Washington State, we have a registration for it. So, yeah.
Okay.
I love this. This is a great comment. So Scott King says hypnosis isn't covered by your insurance, but don't worry, lung cancer treatment is. That's right. And so is diabetes treatment. So if you want to keep eating Twinkies, all those things, once you got it, it's all covered.
Big pharma wants you fat, lazy, and unhealthy.
Well, congratulations, Big Pharma. You won. But the other thing too is with the so sometimes it will be covered. Some insurance companies will reimburse you. If you get treatment, and the hypnotherapist can give you we do have some billing codes we can give the clients. We can give them a receipt. Nobody ever takes me up on it. I also understand that sometimes if you run the flexible spending account, the flexible health spending account,
HSA card.
Yeah. Sometimes if you run that on your machine, it'll go through. Mm-hmm. So there are some options out there for you. But again, and this is funny too, that you're talking about the psychology, and hey, I think the more knowledge you have about the brain, the better. But I was talking to somebody who was teaching hypnosis, been doing this in the business for 30 years, and was brought in by the person who handled the scheduling of that, the administrator. It was at a community college or something, and said that they had a psychologist that wanted to teach hypnotherapy. So wouldn't it make more sense for them to bring that person on? They couldn't have them both. And this person was kind of just threw up their arms and said, okay. And when he told me the story, I said, who has more experience doing hypnosis? The person doing it every single day, or the person who, like Shawn says, it's just one of their tools in their toolbox? So especially if you're trying to learn hypnosis, you want to be there with somebody who's been doing hypnosis every single day, not the one that occasionally pulls it out of their mini bags of tricks. So anyway, that's my thought on that. So, hey, if you're out there, if you happen to be watching, dude that sent me the email, it would be great if you just knew this, could just understand all this. But, it's tough. I used to get annoyed by getting so many. I get a lot of messages like this. But then my friend Wes told me, if you're going to put yourself out as an expert, then you need to be answering people when they email you and not being annoyed. So I was like, good point. Thanks, Joe. All right. Any other thoughts on that?
What would you? I'll primarily direct this at Claudia because you're the guest. You have not been prepared, which is not fair to you, but we're going to roll with this. When
13 years of experience, she's ready for anything.
Yeah. So when you run into people that are reluctant to change, or for lack of a better term, they're scared, or they're too scared to just get the hell out of their own way. How do you help, whether it's leaving a negative relationship or taking a stand to try to get some change, fighting, off an addiction, whether it's food, cigarettes, booze, drugs, you name it. What's your approach to kind of break through with them to try to get their buy-in?
Yeah, I always draw. I spend about so my first session is for 2 hours. So in my first session, I've got a whole hour of drawing these diagrams, and through that we get this rapport going, and that really helps. And then I find out again what they want. I also it's by the time they see me for my first session, that's not my first session. That's like my third session, because I've already emailed them. I've already started to build the rapport, telling them, yes, I can help you. But I also want to talk to them. I like to speak to all of my clients when I have a diary. I don't have a calendar. I actually book them in because I want to speak to them. I want to know if I am the right fit for them. And that's the second session. We've built rapport. I tell them what I'm going to do. I may ask them what they want then as well. Not what they don't want, what they want. And then it's so by the time they come to see me for the third session, and then I draw diagrams and I sit with them next to them on the sofa. I'm then like looking right into their eyes. Mm-hmm. They're almost they're like So I actually very rarely have that issue, to be honest.
Oh, good. And kind of a follow on to that, for anybody who is contemplating it, if they're sitting at home, if they're watching this and they're looking to make a positive change, but they just kind of feel trapped or anything like that, what words of encouragement or advice would you offer to these folks?
Well, most people move away from pain and move towards pleasure. So it's like, are they in enough pain? Are they ready for change? Do they really want this? Because what is their secondary gain from having it? What are they getting by having this issue? What is it doing for them? What is preventing them from having it already? So it's all the NLP questions.
Yeah. Is there a common theme that you've noticed from people that on the limited cases in your experience, that once you finally get to that aha where you get that, you crack that egg, you get them to open up and be like, okay, now we're really getting to the root of the issue. What do you find that is the most common root?
From childhood, it's I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. I'm not being heard. No one. I'm not protected. I'm not safe. Yeah, those are the common roots. The times when I do have issues is when it's somebody else is paying for them, and they haven't got any skin. They haven't got any skin in the game.
You can't volunteer somebody else.
Yeah.
It's wet. And and I will often say, I had this recently, and I just said to him at the end of it, I said, right, we're going to stop now, because I didn't want to do it anymore, because it wasn't good for me. And I just said,
it's exhausting, isn't it?
Yeah, it sucked. And I said, so we've done the 4 sessions, and that was what I said I would do with your mum, and that's fine now. So if you when you really are ready for change, you know where I am.
Yeah.
And because.
Are you familiar with another hypnotist, good friend of Jim and mine, Daniel Hedrick out of Oregon?
No, I don't know him.
Oh, he was a great guy. He was a guest of ours several months back, and I was kind of telling the brief story that when I met him at a training thing that we filmed, you know, I shared with him some of the stuff from the military and struggles that I was dealing with, and he goes, I have like a 1-day intensive thing that, you know, I charge people, you know, $1,500-$1,800, or I don't remember what the dollar amount was, but he goes, I want to help you, but he goes, I need you to have skin in the game. And I didn't have extra money at the time. And he goes, you figure out how to get from Seattle down to Northern Oregon. And he goes, you call me, you give me a couple days notice. And he goes, your job is to get here. And if you can get here, you want this. And I think 6-8 weeks later, I was down there and absolutely life changing.
Wow.
But he kind of took me and he was like, hey, here's a little bit, kind of a quick cliff notes of how hypnosis works. Here's kind of how you got to where you are. You're not broken. You're human. It's okay. And then here's what we're going to do to fix it. Sit back in the recliner, relax. We're going to go on a ride. And for somebody who sat in a recliner for several hours, I went home and I was never more mentally smoked and just emotionally drained. I felt like I'd run a marathon, but it was absolutely changed my life. And, you know, I always give kudos back to Jim because of my coming across Jim and meeting him. I'm here to have this conversation with you guys and share my experiences. So I thank you, Claudia, for being another, you know, beacon of light for people to get help.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we all are.
Well. Yeah.
And many on here.
Yeah. So Joe's got a funny joke there. The government's just trying to do their best to protect people from hypnotists like you guys. And I feel safer for it. That's right. Saving us from the scary hypnotists that are trying to get people to quit smoking and eat better and, you know, not suffer through trauma their whole life.
Yeah. And live their best lives.
and they call us the ones that wear the foil hats.
Right. Exactly. Hey, I just want to remind everybody, if you're a hypnotist, you need to be out at this conference this year, pnwhypnosisconference.com, happening in Tacoma, Washington. I know Claudia's going to be there next year. Shawn will probably be here next year too. But this year, everybody else needs to be here. So get out there and we're going to have a great time. And we have a lot of great speakers lined up. And, oh yeah, that was nice. All right. So what else we got for Claudia before we get into the hypnosis? What have we not asked you, Claudia, that you want to, oh, go ahead, Brian.
I may be late. I know I was late to the party, but forgive me if we've covered this. What brought you to North Carolina or the United States as a whole, and how are you loving it or not loving it?
So I used to live in Virginia Beach when I was a little girl. My dad was in the Air Force there with NATO, and I did first grade, second grade, third grade, and I absolutely fell in love with America. I learned to play really well.
American Air Force or Royal Air Force?
He was in the Royal Air Force. Okay. Yeah, and I should have got a master's in playing, but I always said I'd come back to live in America. So I've come back to relive my childhood.
Oh, have you had a chance to make it out to the West Coast or?
No, not yet. I've never been to the West Coast.
We will welcome you to the Pacific Northwest. Pay no attention to Seattle. It's not a representative of the entire state.
Yeah.
I want
the rest of us bathe regularly.
It's okay. At least
anything about Seattle?
About Toronto.
But I love America. Yeah. And I've settled in really well. Yeah. I mean, I had to make it work because I had to restart my business again. And I've joined, straight into networking. And then we had COVID. And but I'd fortunately done enough networking, and I was busy with clients. And I'm 90% referral. So it's
beautiful problem to have. Jim, pop Becca's comment up there and.
Yeah, Marmite. No, my friends.
Marmite.
My friends. I know. I've asked Grant to bring me some at Hypnothoughts Live. He's going to bring me some. My children, and because we've left 4 of the big ones over there. So yeah, I mean they invariably come over, so that's good. But it's I love
how you led with
friends.
Marmite, though.
Yeah, my friends. Really...
Marmite, and then friends, and then children.
I was being naughty.
All right, now I'm curious what Marmite is. I'm gonna have to jump on the Google
right?
here. And...
Order of importance was Marmite, friends, children.
Marmite, friends, then children. Yeah.
It's
yes, Marmite is horrible.
Yeah, you either love it or you hate it.
I see vegan.
I'll have Grant bring an extra bottle.
Vegan source of B vitamins, and it's a food spread of.
Yeah.
Is it like a butter or?
Is it like the Vegemite?
You put it on top of butter. So yeah, but it's.
Is it like Vegemite?
I don't think it's quite like Vegemite.
It's like Vegemite. No. Yeah.
Oh, I heard it's awful.
Oh, it sounds horrible. It's got like. Oh. You need to go visit a Waffle House out there and just get that. Like, try not to get in a fight with the people, but
yeah, I don't like syrup. I don't like cream. I'm not very but it's but anyway, it's
said no American ever. Claudia, you take your red coat. You go back.
No. She doesn't have to go all the way back. She can come north. That's fine. We welcome all the loyalists here.
You got Marmite up there, Shawn?
She said she doesn't like syrup. That's like all there is. And
you know what? When you have real maple syrup, there is no going back, and you don't need a lot of it to sweeten your day.
Oh, that's nice. Pretty true. Yeah, I don't like grits. I don't like grits either because I'm in.
It's okay. He'll introduce you to poutine.
Yeah.
Which the description sounds absolutely horrible. You know, I'm not sure what cheese curds are, but the French fries and gravy I can get down with.
It's not just any gravy; it's duck fat gravy.
Oh.
Well, the curds they're not really disgusting. I kind of thought curds sounded gross too, but it's just cheese. It seems like. I don't know.
Yeah, Jim just did the Homer Simpson gravy.
You know, there's actually places here in Seattle. There was a bar before that had poutine. You could get fries with poutine. So anyway, look up some. You know what I want is some Yorkshire pudding, man. I watch Kitchen Nightmares, and that's all I want. I just want to eat Yorkshire pudding with roast every day.
Yeah, I make a good Yorkshire pudding, but not here. The flour is different. They will not be. They're not as good. So I know.
Now I'm curious of what chocolate needs to bring. Now I'm curious about what chocolate chip cookies taste like in the UK.
So they were just like
if they're like more fluffy or.
Oh, they're probably a bit more crunchy actually.
Oh.
Because the flour.
I like the soft ones that just kind of
unless you just get them straight out of the oven, and then they would be
But Joe's asking if Washington is actually a state. Well, depending on who you ask, the Pacific Northwest Washington is. I don't know if it's going to split into 2 states, and then there's Washington D.C., where the politicians in the swamp is its own conglomerate. And we've got some culture stuff from Becca.
Shots fired from Becca over in the UK. Called chips instead of crisps. Weird.
It's not.
It's crisps.
No. Potato chips are chips, and that is a hill I'm willing to die on.
Okay. I'm happy for you. You do that.
and then do you have any openings, Claudia? Do you have any openings on your diary? Maybe Brian might need some help with that.
And then you guys call chips, or you guys. Well, what you guys call chips is French fries, and I'm like,
yeah.
All right. So what do you guys? You go to McDonald's over there. It's like I will have the. You can't even say the double quarter pounder, so you got to be like, well, it's the double royale something because you guys are metric.
And, but we can say both. We get to say both. We can say French
UK
fries
gets
and we
both.
can say chips because it's fish and chips, and those are proper big, thicker chips. Now you
Oh,
have
look
French
at you!
fries.
Look at you flexing your dual citizenship.
Your French fries are long and thin, and those are French fries.
Yes, amongst other things as well. But this is a family-friendly show.
But but you don't necessarily have your chips here. We
yes,
have
we
chips
do.
as well.
We have potato chips. We have tortilla chips. We have barbecue.
Yes, you know what, Brian? You don't have ketchup chips.
Anyway.
Oh God! What terrorist invented those?
That sounds like something I need to bring with me.
I guess
that sounds cruel and unusual.
So I need maple syrup and I need ketchup chips. Do you have like all dressed chips?
Like we have like Doritos. It's got like the nacho cheese flavor.
So I need to bring all. I'm just gonna bring like an extra
potato
box.
Chips.
Well, like salt and vinegar
chips.
and.
I agree because there's kettle chips. We have those in England, and they're called chips, kettle chips.
What about dill pickle?
Kettle crisps. Am I right there, Becca?
Dill pickles are just the long. They're like cut in quarters, but long way.
I know what you're talking about.
0.25 for you, Claudia.
And of course we have biscuits. Our biscuits are very nice.
But we have biscuits too.
No,
we call them cookies.
Yeah, but again, the biscuits here. I'm in North Carolina, so the biscuits, they're biscuits and gravy, and it's like a scone. Yes. It's like really, yeah.
If you get the the name escapes, Panda Sol rolls. They're just like they're moist. They're fluffy. They're just just melts right in your mouth. Some butter, you pour some gravy over that. But the biscuits you're talking about are like I don't want to say it's like a sour type thing, but it's almost like not quite cornbread, but it's got a different taste.
Yeah, it's
the ones I'm talking. The Panda Sol rolls are like those Hawaiian sweet rolls. They taste more like bread than.
I think you're talking about a Mexican dish now, Brian. A Mexican cake. Panda Sol.
No, Panda Sol.
Like bread of the sun. Yeah, that's bread of the sun in Spanish.
Oh,
so that's not even American.
Every state, what I've learned is that every state is like a different country here in America.
We have our own little intricacies, but you go, like if you went to North Carolina and South Carolina, they both will, like you could almost break out in this like Civil War 2.0 over barbecue. Who has the best? And then you throw Texas into the mix, and it's great fun.
Okay, here's one for you. So my wife is Vietnamese, and anything that is any kind of, I guess if it has flour, like any kind of a bread type product, cakes and cookies, anything is called cake. And it's so freaking confusing because the first 2 years was like trying to figure out, does she mean a cookie? And so she actually said, will say like a cookie cake, or like even like rolls that you put you make a sandwich on. It's called cake. Like that's not cake. Cake is sweet. Okay, cake is sweet. They don't get it.
Yeah,
it's also your Achilles heel, Jim.
It is. That's why I'm so frustrated about it. All right, so still can't believe you guys said, oh, we're selling chips. Okay, done. And my Belgian friend says French fries is a misnomer because they're actually invented by the Belgian people. So I don't know.
Oh, see, it's a cultural show. We're like one-stop self-improvement here.
North Carolina barbecue, don't
at me. That's like don't pick a fight with me.
Oh, okay.
She's like don't even mention that.
So I've been to North Carolina. I actually visited the Lenovo, what was the IBM research facility down there, turned into Lenovo after they sold their hardware line. And they did take us out for some barbecue, and there was a really nice barbecue place just down the highway from the hotel we were staying at. It was good. I would give it 2 thumbs up, definitely.
Out there, they've got some of the biggest like they'll make like a whole, like if you could put a barbecue that was on a trailer towed behind an SUV or a pickup truck, like that's how big they can get. That's how seriously they take their grilling.
Yeah.
Well, and I was impressed because they also took us out. I think Carolina was
like Smokehouse or something.
In Boston, and so they had all the every second truck had a barbecue out the back, and they were having their food before they went in to see the game. So
good deal. All right, guys, it's awfully late for Claudia where she's at. Well, and for Shawn. So let's. Is there anything else that before we get started with the hypnosis? Anything else that we should know about you or your work?
Oh, loads. But it's late.
We're gonna be here all night. I like Claudia.
Yeah,
she's a good sport.
It's okay. Anybody that needs to drop off, just drop off. We're gonna keep going.
Right, exactly.
No, I'm running an expo tomorrow in Raleigh, so yeah, I'm going to be up early.
What's that about? What's an expo? Now, how was camping? You went camping last
weekend?
weekend?
Yeah, no, we didn't go in the end, which was which was just as well. So I ended up filling in for my daughter with her job instead. How did I do that? But that's what mums do, isn't it? She started a new job at a stables and was working like 12 hours a day, and then she was doing this Saturday job, which was helping somebody sell stuff at a state fair sort of thing. And she just said, "I'm so tired, Mummy, I can't do it." So I said, "You can't let her down," because she was a friend of mine and I'd got her the job.
Yeah, right.
So guess who ended up doing it? Me. And I don't know. I know. I'd been at Heartlands, came back, had a caseload of clients all week, and then I got up early on Saturday and did my daughter's job. And of course, she was my friend, so I didn't want any money for it. So there you go.
There's a lesson in this, Claudia. No good deed goes unpunished.
That's true.
So, but anyway, that's what mums do. And yes, so then I'm up again tomorrow early doing this expo. I'm speaking there as well, so that'll be fun.
Nice.
Yeah. Excellent.
Hey, everybody who's watching, get ready because we're getting started with the hypnosis in just a moment. We do want to remind you that if you are driving of a motor vehicle, or if you're doing any kind of, stuff like heavy machinery work, then please do not, hold on.
If you work at Boeing right now and you are building an airplane, please turn us off now.
Yes. We have the nice little, I don't know what happens. Like I think they keep changing the platform because I think I have things figured out and then they go away again.
Well, welcome to life as a man, Jim.
Hold on. Shoot. Wait. Microphone came out. Wait.
So, Jim, are you doing the hypnosis? Or...
No, you are.
I am.
You're our guest.
Oh,
this is your time to
told me. Okay.
This is your time to shine, baby.
You didn't get the memo.
No, nobody bloody well told me. Okay.
Oh, I'm sure I did. Right?
No.
He'll pay you in having Grant bring extra vegan.
I'll just
schmoo to put on your bread.
Okay.
Or Jim's wife's cakes.
How long do you need this to be?
Remember, I even said if you want to do your bunny technique, you could.
No, but that's my bunny. My bunny talk is not. It's a process. It's something for parents to do with their children. It's not hypnosis, but I can do hypnosis on everybody. So
well, we can. So here's a choice. You can do it solo, or you can do the induction, and then we can all join in. What do you want to do?
Oh, it's all right. I'll do what I do in my first session with everybody because it's just
only about 20 minutes though.
Oh, it'll be less than that.
Are we doing the therapeutic type stuff, or are we doing the silly stuff?
No, I'm not doing silly stuff. I don't do silly stuff, I'm afraid. I could.
Not since that one time on stage.
But I am more, yeah. It's but it'll anyway. Okay.
All right. Remember, folks, don't drive starting right now. Don't drive or
no, but I'm just gonna because I don't want to do the muscle relaxation unless you want me to, because if we're on live, if I'm doing it with everybody,
up to you. It's totally up to you. Yeah, you just
okay.
Just
all right. I will because I never know where if anybody's. I can't see everybody's fingers and things, so I don't know when they're going into hypnosis.
Oh,
I'm not crazy. I've made this argument. I haven't died on this hill yet, but no. Anybody who's listening, sit back, put your feet up, relax, get comfortable. If you are sitting up instead. Make sure you're out of range from furniture and stuff like that. Sit back, relax. Claudia, send it.
That's right. And just allowing your eyes to feel comfortably closed now while you listen to the sound of my voice. Because the sound of my voice will help you, will help relax you as you just drift off now, deep, deep down into that wonderful place of relaxation. That place where you feel so safe, so calm, so deeply relaxed. That's right. And allowing all the muscles in your head to relax. Just imagine each individual hair follicle relaxing down. And the muscles around your eyes and your jaw, any tension you're holding there in your jaw, just let that all relax. That's right. And while you're listening to the sound of my voice, if you hear any noises inside or outside, they won't bother you. You'll just know it's the sounds of other people going about their daily business. And that's fine, because you're here with me, feeling safe and calm, and allowing yourself to go deeper and deeper into that wonderful place of relaxation. Deeper and deeper relaxed. That's right. And allow all the muscles in your neck and your shoulders to relax. And your arms and your forearms, and all the way down to the tips of your fingers. And while you're listening to the sound of my voice, if you need to shuffle about a bit or scratch your nose, that's fine. Do whatever you need to do in order to feel more and more comfortable, more and more at peace, more and more calm. That's right. And allow all the muscles in your chest and your stomach to relax, and your back and your lower back. And while you're listening to the sound of my voice, you may get a slight tingling sensation, just like little prickles in your head or somewhere else in your body. And that's fine. It just means that you're allowing yourself to go deeper and deeper into that wonderful place of relaxation. Deeper and deeper relaxed. That's right. And allow all the muscles in your buttocks to relax, and your thighs, and your calves, and all the way down to the tips of your toes. Just allowing your whole body now to go deeper and deeper into that wonderful place of relaxation. Deeper and deeper relaxed. That's right. And now, while you're feeling so comfortably relaxed, I want your mind and imagination to just drift off to that magical, mystical place in your mind, that magical, mystical place where you can make positive lifestyle changes now. This safe place of yours, this magical, mystical place, this safe place of yours, whatever it is for you. And now, while you're in this safe place of yours, this magical, mystical place, I'd like you to give yourself a gift. And this could be a gift around your beliefs or your values, or something that you really want or desire right now. Make it a good gift. Make it a really good gift. And now, I'd like you to imagine a force field around your body protecting you. Perhaps your favorite color with sparkles in. It's whatever it is for you. And this force field acts like an emotional barrier or boundary protecting you, because you do not give other people's bad behavior or their emotions permission to change the way you feel. You do not give other people's bad behavior or their emotions permission to change the way you feel. And there's an opening in this force field, and it's where you breathe in new learnings, new positives, new adventures. And it's where you breathe out any negative feelings, images, thoughts, emotions, or sensations that you've been holding on to. It's where you breathe out all the old psychological rubbish that goes on in your head. And now, I'd like you to run a movie through your head. And this is a movie of you over the coming days, weeks, months, years, looking the way you want to look, feeling the way you want to feel, and doing all the things that you want to do. You have this gift. You have this force field surrounding you, protecting you, because you do not give other people's bad behavior or their emotions permission to change the way you feel. Make it a good movie. Make it a really good movie. We are the movies we play in our heads. We are the movies we play in our heads. Always play a good movie. Always play a good movie. And now, in a moment, I will count from 1 to 5. And on 5, you will open your eyes and you will feel amazing. In a moment, I will count from 1 to 5. And on 5, you'll open your eyes and you will feel so excited about the rest of your weekend ahead of you. In a moment, I will count from 1 to 5. And on 5, you'll feel absolutely wonderful. You will feel as though you've had a wonderful, deep sleep. You have this gift. You have this force field surrounding you, protecting you, because you do not give other people's bad behavior or their emotions permission to change the way you feel. And you've seen yourself in a movie, looking the way you want to look, feeling the way you want to feel, and doing all the things that you want to do. And so ready. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, open your eyes, feeling amazing, feeling wonderful. You have this gift. You have this force field surrounding you, protecting you, because you do not give other people's bad behavior or their emotions permission to change the way you feel. And you've seen yourself in a movie, looking the way you want to look, feeling the way you want to feel, and doing all the things that you want to do. Are you back here with me in the present?
Thank you, Claudia. Please, if you follow along with the hypnosis, whether you did it live or later, please drop a comment. Let us know what that was like for you. That was fabulous. I love the movie. That was awesome. Playing the movie.
So, yeah, I don't often do the muscle relaxation. I would normally do a different, induction. It's just that with so many people, and it's just the easier one to do because I can't see anybody's hands. I can't see what everybody's doing. I'm not watching people. So it was, yeah.
Yeah. Mark says, yay. Thanks for watching, Mark. Mark, a great guy. Great. Anything else before we let you go?
So, no, thank you very much for having me. Lovely to meet you all. So I know I've met you, obviously, Jim, but I haven't met Shawn. I haven't met Brian. So
Oh, not yet. You'll come see us sometime soon. I'm confident.
Okay. I'll be at Hypnothoughts Live. I'm a first time speaker there this year.
And Jim, remind me and everybody when that is again. I've got so many dates going on with Shriners.
Hypnothoughts Live is August 22nd, I think.
No, it's 19th of July.
It's a month off. Yeah.
20th of July. I know I'm getting there. I'm doing a course with Michael C. Anthony on the 19th.
And that's one down in Tacoma, right?
That's in Vegas. The one you're talking about, Brian, is the Pacific Northwest Hypnosis Conference, which is happening June 3rd and 4th, less than a month away.
Oh, very good. I might have to pop down to Vegas.
Absolutely. It's about time you got down to Hypnothoughts. Yeah.
Yeah. If nothing else, just to meet people and stuff like that. And it looks like Claudia Becca has you've got rave reviews from her.
Really good. Thanks, Mark. It's his birthday on the 22nd. And Brian, there's an excellent, I think you'll like this, all you can eat Japanese steakhouse. So
sold. I'm there. Stop holding the gun to my head. I give. I'll go.
Claudia, I know your socials are on here, but I don't see them right offhand. Drop your socials for us. What are your socials?
Oh, I don't have links like that. I'm really bad at things like that. I know I've got a lot of friends, and I don't know how to do that.
Find yourself a high school kid to make your social accounts.
I'm not very good.
Claudia Rickard, everybody. Find her wherever you can.
Oh yeah, you've got them. There you go.
Yeah.
There we go. Good. Yep, she's on the YouTube.
Becca wants to come out and see us and see if Grant can bring her out with the vegan stuff.
Right, the Vegemite, the Marmite, whatever.
Marmite.
And Yorkshire pudding, Grant, damn you.
Yes.
Okay. And
Grant's got to bring his apron.
Bring that apron. Maybe I'll have one too. Let's see. ClaudiaRickardHypnosis.com. Go check out Claudia. She does great work. And I got to tell you, I'm always envious of you hypnotists with the British accent. I just think it sounds so cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, Shawn, Brian, it's been a pleasure, of course. And everybody out there watching, please, and don't forget to tune in to Shawn's TikTok lives Sunday mornings at 8 a.m. Eastern time. All right. Thank you, Joe, for your kind words.
11 a.m.
Take care.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Be well. Stay free, everybody.
11 a.m., right, Shawn?
11 a.m. Eastern, yep.
All right. Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. Take care. Be well. Be awesome.